You golfers continually ask me, Lee, where can we get a cassette with your golf tips? You people are always after me. And I love it. But I've always said that my fans and followers deserve the very best I can give them. So what I've done is selected what I think is the best of my golf tips. The ones that have been on the TV network the last couple of years. We wanted you to enjoy these tips so you could better your golf game. The more times you run this cassette, the better chance you have of overcoming your problems. So all you have to do is put it in your VCR, and you've got old Lee as your personal pro right in your living room. You golfers are always after me. You always ask me the same question. Lee, how can I get that distance back? Am I getting too old? Am I getting a little heavy? Well, I don't think you're ready for that old rocking chair. If you're not getting any distance, chances are that you're standing too straight up on the ball, taking the club back and working down on it. Your right hand is working too far away from your body. Very, very weak position. What you have to do here is flex your knees at address before you ever start the swing. Put that club on the toe of your shoe and see if you can touch it with that left knee before you ever start. This will not only help you turn much farther on the way back, but as you're coming down through the ball, you'll be working up to get it. This enables your right hand to come very close to your right side and gives you a lot of power. Nah, I don't think you're ready for that rocking chair. All you have to do is flex those knees a little bit, work on it. You'll probably get your distance back by tomorrow. Lee, how do you get that deep shoulder turn? It may look like a deep shoulder turn, but I really don't think so. I accelerate through the ball. I take the club back, I started at 0, and I accelerate it to 100 miles an hour all the way through the shot. You're having a little problem with this, pushing the ball, topping the ball, pulling the ball. Chances are that you're decelerating. You're anticipating the hit. You start at the top of the backswing and you slow down right in the hitting area, and your body just moves all over the place. It's like taking a handkerchief out of your pocket, putting it up to the top of your backswing. Now watch how the handkerchief will follow all the way through. You see what happens to the hanky if you stop? It falls and catches up. What you have to do is try and keep your body in front of your hands and the club face coming through the hitting area. Let me show you. If you're having a little problem spraying that ball around, chances are you're anticipating the hit. You're slowing down in the hitting area. Keep that body in front of the hands and the club face. You're going to get more distance, and you're surely going to hit it straighter. All the pros are trying to fade the ball, and all the amateurs are trying to hook it. Well, almost all the amateurs, because some of you can hook the ball. But if you can, I'm going to show you what you have to do. Now, you know what you have to do when you draw the ball. You've got to pull that right foot back just a little bit, and you've got to turn the hands over so the club will close and you can hit it from right to left. But it's not happening to you, and probably the reason why it's not happening to you is you're taking the club back, and actually you're moving in front of it. You're getting in front of the ball, and the hands never having a chance to get to the ball and to roll over. What you have to do here is stay on the right side just a little bit longer. When you keep this right foot down longer, it makes the right knee stay in back of the left one, and it makes the right elbow stay underneath the left one. Results? It gives you a little more time to close the club. Let me show you. You might try taking the backswing a little bit slower. It'll give you time to stay on the right side just a little longer. And they said I couldn't hook a golf ball. I'm not saying I'm going to lower your handicap, but you are going to be able to shoot at those flags on the left of that green from now on. I was hitting some practice balls the other day on the driving range, and a gentleman walked up to me and he said, Lee, I've been slicing this ball all my life, and I can't get out of it. So I brought him over and I said, let me look at your swing. And the first thing I saw is that when he set up and he got ready to hit the ball, his left arm was so fast through the hitting area that the club head never had a chance to catch up. Here. So he was hitting the ball with an open face. I teed up another ball and I said to him, look, as you're coming down into the hitting area, I said, right before you get into hitting that ball, slow the left shoulder and the left arm down and speed up the right arm. This will give the club head a chance to catch up. As you're coming down into the hitting area, slow it down and hit it with the right hand. And he started hitting the prettiest little draw you've ever seen out there in your life. So if you've got that real bad slice and you can't get out of it, chances are that your left arm is way too fast through the hitting area and the club head is lagging. Slow it down into the hitting area. Let the right arm speed up, the club head will catch up, and you'll see that ball going out there from right to left. And if you like what you see, tell all your friends where you got it. And the most common question that's asked to me is, Lee, why do I slice that golf ball? Well, I think I can help you. It's really not that difficult to get out of a slice. I think the biggest mistake that you make is actually in the left knee. What happens when you get down into the hitting area is that you're locking your left knee. What happens here is the right shoulder goes over and you cut across the ball. What you have to do here is to make sure that in the hitting area that actually the left knee breaks towards the target, keeping the right knee in back of the left. This results in laying off the club and getting underneath it. Let me show you. You can do this in your living room. Make sure that you watch those knees and that they're flexed through the hitting area. Muscle memory is what it's all about. The foundation of the golf swing, which is the backswing. How do you get that club away from the ball? Well, a lot of you have a little bad habits, and I'm just going to show you 3 of them real quick. One of the bad habits that you have is that you break too soon away from the ball. The other one is that you pick the club up and you take it too far outside. The third one is you break the right elbow and pull the club back way inside. Well, what you have to do here in the correct backswing is actually it works from the left shoulder to the club head. It works away from the ball all in one motion. Now, if you want to take the club back inside, you have to close your hips because the club will only follow the alignment of the hips, so it'll come inside. If you want to go straight down the line, you square up your stance and you go straight back. If you want to go a little outside the line on the way back, you open up your stance and you go a little outside. Let me show you the correct backswing. Now there's a perfect backswing. Don't forget, for a good foundation, keep that left shoulder and that club head together on the way back. Today's architects are building these golf courses with all these rolling hills. And eventually you're going to find yourself with the ball below your feet. What do? Well, if you've been having a little trouble with this shot, chances are that you've got a little too much weight forward. Your heels are up off the ground and you're falling forward when you hit the ball. What you have to do is play the ball back into your stance and sit down on it. Get down low. When you do that, all the weight gets on your heels. Keep that right foot down all the way through the shot. See how that right foot stayed down? Now let me show you what you have to do when the ball is above your feet. If you find that ball up above your feet and you're coming up second best on this shot, maybe I can help you. First of all, you want to put the ball back in the middle of your stance. Make sure that the weight doesn't get back on your heels. Keep that weight up on your toes. As a matter of fact, keep that right heel up off the ground all the way through the shot. This will keep you up over the ball. Don't forget, if the ball's below your stance, keep the weight on your heels. If it's above your stance, keep the weight on your toes. Doesn't make any difference how these architects build these courses. You can handle any of them. For years, I've been wanting to give you a tip on how to play in a strong wind, but the wind has never agreed with my schedule. So, I went to Hollywood, got my own fan, and made my own wind. I told you I was going to give you some wind. Hopefully, it'll never blow this hard on your golf course. But if it does, here's what you can do. Make sure you get a little bit closer to the ball. Play the ball back in your stance just a little bit more. This will enable your hands to go a little higher and forward. Make sure that the left wrist stays very firm through the hitting area. Let me show you in slow motion. There's a nice low one. Don't forget, if you get caught in this hard wind, get a little closer to the ball, play it back into your stance, but most important, keep that left wrist very, very firm. Man, this thing is really blowing. I'm gonna let you play the next shot. Fight, ball. Fight, fight. Suck up. Have a wreck. Stop! You heard that war cry before? You're hitting those greens, they're a little on the firm side, and the ball is running in the fringe or trickling into the bunker, or you've got all these long putts for birdies. Well, what you may need here is a little bit more backspin. Let me show you how to trap the ball and put some spin on it. If you're not getting the action that you want on those firm greens, chances are that you're playing the ball a little too far forward into your stance, hitting up on the ball, and you're not utilizing the grooves on that wedge. To trap the ball and put backspin on it, you must put the ball back into the center of your stance. Put about 80% or 75% of your weight over onto the left side. The reason for this is this will give you a shorter backswing, more of an upright swing, and more abrupt, up and down. When you take the club back to your backswing, shift very little of your weight to the inside of your right foot. On the way down, keep the weight over on the left side. You will trap the ball will rise and stop immediately. Let me show you in slow motion. Weight on the left. Oh, I made it. I made it. I made it. Don't forget, if you're not getting the right spin on the ball, chances are you have it too far forward. Put it back. Put 75 to 80% of your weight over on the left side. Trap it. And when you see it hit that green, it'll do this for you. Sooner or later, you're going to find yourself in heavy rough. What do you do with it? We have problems with it. I'm sure you do too. The reason that we have problems with this particular shot is simply because you're probably using an iron out of this heavy rough. What happens is when you get ready to execute the shot, the ball's coming out low left. Now, the reason for this is that the blade is tangling up in the grass and the toe's coming over. You're actually helping this by putting body movement into it. Now, the reason for this is because the iron is very sharp. Hosel is very small. When the grass gets wrapped up in that hosel, the toe goes over. Let me show you my favorite club out of tall grass, the 6-wood. The reason? The front of the club is not as sharp as the iron. The hosel is much bigger, therefore the grass will not wrap around it and make the toe come over. The only difference that you do executing a 6-wood out of heavy rough as opposed to a long iron is that I hit the ball with upper body. I try to keep my lower body as stationary as possible. Look at that shot. How many tournaments could I have won if I'd have known that tip 10 years ago? Don't forget, if that ball's going out of there low left, get you a 6-wood. Fairway woods, they can be difficult. If you've been having a little problem with them lately, chances are that you're hitting up on the ball. By hitting up on it, you're catching the ball a third of the way up. What you want to do is you want to hit down on a fairway wood, compress it into the ground. This is what gets the ball up. Now, if you've been missing it, you're guilty of putting it too far forward. And the reason is because you want to see some loft on that club. So you've got it forward, and you swing up on it, and you top the ball. That look familiar to you. What you have to do here is you have to play the ball back into your stance. Now, that wouldn't look like it doesn't have any loft on it, but that's okay, because when you hit down on it, you will compress it into the ground, and this is what gets the ball up in the air. If I hit down on that ball, I don't have to look up to see where it went. I can hear the roar of the crowd. Don't forget, if you're missing that shot, you're hitting up on it. Put it back a little bit, hit down on it. You're going to reach a lot of par 5s from now on. Yeah, you probably just fell off that couch watching that shot. You know, most of you guys that I play with in Pro-Ams, that is what you do, is hit the ball fat. I know you ladies do it also because you're always asking me about it. You know, the problem is not that you have the club too long. The problem is at the top of the backswing. What happens once you've gotten there is the last three fingers in your left hand open up because you want to get that club back a little bit farther, and then they close on you on the way down. And this is what throws the club and makes it too long, and you hit the ball fat. What you want to do is hold on with the last three fingers very firm and come down into the hitting area. Let me show you. Don't forget, if you're hitting that ball fat, put a lot of pressure on these last three fingers. I've tried to tell you that this game is played from 100 yards in. I don't care whether you shoot 67, 87, or 127. Once you finish, 65% of those strokes are going to be inside of 100 yards. For instance, we have one here of 85 yards. We've got the flag cut real close to that huge bunker, and we've got a little lake here in front. You'd say to yourself, well, I can stretch that sand wedge and get there. But if you didn't get it there and you'd bury it in the lip of that bunker, or you'd hit behind it and it'd go in this lake, don't be ashamed to take a pitching wedge. Choke it down just a little bit and hit it 20 to 30 feet by the hole and two-putt coming back. Take the pitching wedge, choke it down just a little bit. Well, it might be a little to the left, but at least it's by the flag. Don't be ashamed to go by that flag, two-putt coming back. I want to show you another one right over here. No, this isn't my last shot. But you're going to find a ball that stops short of a lake like this. And again, you've got about a 65-yard shot just over that bunker. Can't mess with it from here. What you want to do is you want to go 20 feet past the flag. That's it. Don't be ashamed to shoot 20 feet to the left. You're probably standing in your living room saying, he's telling us to shoot away from the flag. I'm not doing that at all. All I'm telling you is to use this and save some strokes. I've really got myself in a lot of trouble here. I've gotten behind this tree. I've got to get over it. I can't go to the right. I can't go to the left. What do? I take a sand wedge and I open it right up. But the secret is to play it like a bunker shot. Don't ground your club. Hit down through it hard. And it'll get right up over that tree. Don't forget, if you get behind a tree like this, open up that blade. Don't ground your club. Use your head when you get around the green. No. That's not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be right here on the right side. Down the left side, just a little bit. Yeah, did you see that? Started down the left side, pretty little fade in the middle of the fairway. You probably couldn't see it because there's a beautiful little haze out there. But I almost got confused on where to tee the ball up, this teeing area. I started to put it in the middle. Hey, that's not my shot at all, simply because I fade the ball. I like to tee the ball up as close as possible to that right marker. Why? Because I fade it. I aim down the left side, and then I have all that fairway to land the ball in. If you draw the ball, then you should actually tee the ball up as close as possible to the left marker. Again, you're able to aim down the right side, and you have all that fairway to draw the ball back. If you're confused a little bit on where to tee this ball up, know your drive. Remember, if you draw the ball, tee it up as close as possible to the left. If you fade it, tee it up as close to the marker on the right. If you hit it straight, it doesn't make any difference where you tee it up, as long as it's not in front of the markers or over 2 club lengths away from the markers. All you have to do is work on it a little bit. And you can also put this to a practice in the fairway. When you have a second shot into the green, visualize those markers next to you and then aim accordingly. Practice it. And I think you're going to hit a lot of greens and a lot of fairways. Oh, does that look a little awkward to you? Huh? How about this one? Oh, it's a very interesting topic. What is the width of your stance? What happens when you have a very wide stance? Oh, a lot of things can happen. One, you can't turn very well off the ball. Two, when you're coming back down into the ball, you stay on the right side too long. Results, you go over the top of it, you heel the ball to the left, or you hit a big fade. If you have your feet too close together, what can happen? Well, you don't have very good balance. You will sway off the ball, or you will fall forward. What is the correct width of a stance? In my opinion, you should measure the width of your shoulders. Apply that to the inside sole of your shoes. Now that is the correct width that you should have a stance with the driver. Now with the irons, naturally, you come a little bit closer with the feet simply because the arc of the swing is not nearly as high. So if you're falling off the ball or you're not turning, chances are your stance is too wide or too narrow. All it does, it takes a little practice, and it'll become a habit for you. And you'll start hitting the ball much, much better. Do I need a third wedge? Should I get one? I can't play the two wedges I have in my bag now. Well, let me try to explain these three wedges to you, and it may help your wedge game in the future. When you start talking about wedges, you're talking about the pitching wedge, which has 50 to 52 degree aloft on it. The sand wedge has 56, 58 degree aloft on it. And the so-called third wedge that we have has 60 to 62 degree of loft on it. Where is this wedge played the most? Well, when you play golf courses with hard pan, you have to fly little small mounds and stop the ball immediately. Or you're playing golf courses with very, very tough Bermuda grass. This is when you use the third wedge. Now, you're probably asking yourself a question and saying, well, Lee, if I have a sand wedge, why can't I just open up the face and make it a third wedge? Well, it's almost impossible to do that. And the reason for it is because when this wedge was manufactured, it was manufactured with 58 degree aloft on it. The bounce was put on it accordingly. If you open it up to add 2 to 3 to 4 degree aloft on it, the leading edge comes up too high. Results, you'll start blading the ball. Come on, I'm going to demonstrate these wedges for you. Well, I managed to muster up 3 golf balls from the local pro here, so I'm going to drop them right there and see if I can't demonstrate these 3 wedges to you and see how they react at a very short distance. Pitching wedge. This is the one that has the 50, 52 degree aloft. Little backswing. Now you notice that the ball came out very low, hit the green, and ran quite a bit. The sand wedge. This is the one that has the 56, 58 degree aloft on it. Same swing, same setup. Came out a little bit higher and stopped a little short of the pitching wedge. Now the third wedge. This is the one that has the 60, 62 degree aloft on it. Same swing. You'll notice that the ball got up a little bit higher, didn't go nearly as far, and stopped immediately. I'm not trying to sell you a third wedge, but you may need one, depending on what type of course you play on. Throw that 2-iron out. Check with your pro. He'll tell you what's best for you.